I thought the video of the Beach Street Railway was quite a success in showing this operation. I am going to do a expose on the gas mechanical locomotive. Necessarily wheels. I was able to buy these 13 3/4 inch wheels. They have amazingly the correct flanges, which is required. The flanges and rail, they match my orchard car wheel flanges, which are the standard and the track standard of the railway. So under we have the sprockets, and on the far side you can see a roller bearing pillow block. Those are available for any axle size you can imagine, you know, 20 to 60 bucks, you know, very good stuff. Then the chain drive is, chains and sprockets are very available. Necessarily a frame. This is 10-inch channel, and we used a magic torch to cut those holes in there, and a bandsaw to cut it. It's very clever. Marvin's shop is crucial to this operation, and a 6-inch channel and a 3-inch channel below to get the deck height up to our 18-inch railroad standard. So I have these hoods designed to come off in one big swoop in order that we might access the hood without underhood without crawling in there. I don't like to crawl under hoods. So there's the crusher screen front, and this comes off pretty easily. Sorry about that. We're amateur video hour here. So the necessary item for a locomotive is a transmission, and this gets us forward and reverse. That pulley is driven from the engine. You see the gear tower from the tractor, that's reverse and forward, and then second and third gear. And it also has, very handily, a high-low plunger here. And we took the transmission apart and flipped that lever, that plunger around. It wasn't acting quite as it should, and we managed to get this transmission back together in good order. It's robust gears and good roller bearings. Everything's wonderful in there. It's full of oil. This sprocket goes down to a sprocket on the axle. The other side is retained to prevent the limited slip from slipping. This lever vertical, and then the bar across goes to a band brake on the transmission, and that works quite well. So we have the clutch lever up here. This is an old lever that Marvin had, very cool old rusty old lever, and it is pivot here on the firewall down to this lever here, and then it is cables down to a pulley. This gets this awkward directional changes down to pulling on this lever here, which will lessen the belt tension. So if that is the belt tension, and it is tensioned normally by that spring, and that takes the tension off the belt, go or stop. That's the clutch essentially. And then this pulley spins even when the belt is not tensioned, just by drag. So we need to stop that pulley in order to shift gears. So we have rigged up, you see that weighted lever, that amounts to a clutch brake. It's very clever, and it's weighted so it goes off all by itself. So we have this engine here that is a 420cc 4-stroke single cylinder gas engine, Harbor Freight, $400, and it is a 420cc, which comes out to 13.5 horse, and it is completely adequate. So there's a gas on and off, a choke, and a throttle linkage. We silver soldered a fitting on there, and then there's a rod back across here to a vertical quadrant, and that is very clever. It gets us from the angle above to the height below, and it's just hanging out there in space on this thing here with a nut welded down to this thing here with a nut welded, and this just rides in those two nuts. It's very simple but very effective. So then we come to this step down below. Marvin has a plasma cutter. I call it the magic torch. So that plate of diamond plate there is a ornamental and functional brace with a piece of stout rebar as the step there. That's clever stuff. And then the floor on the locomotive is crusher screen, and in Beatty there seems to be quite a bit of crusher screen given the rock business. And this passenger car has a crusher screen floor, 2 grades due to its rebuilding, and this car number 4 has 1 sheet of crusher screen. We used up all of Marvin's, and then a local quarry owner, Dave Spicer, allowed me to go through his scrap pile and got a bunch more. So we're rich in crusher screen now. So this is a leaf spring holding up a tin tractor seat, and the tin tractor seat is actually preferable. It doesn't hold the heat like the cast iron seat on the other locomotive, so that's a plus. And then the back, and we have good headlights. These light up the universe, and a piece of rail as a joint bar there as a link, and there's pins. And then we have the bell off the Titanic over here. It was dredged up by a fisherman's anchor apparently out of the depths of the mighty Amargosa. So you've got a primer on the locomotive.